Good morning and welcome to What's Hot on Silverbird Television. My name is Vera Chuku, your baby girl for life. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And on this show, we talk about everything trending on social media. So this is social media on your television, the first and the fast. When I say fast, I mean it, of everything social media on your screen. I mean, we talk about every popular and unpopular opinion. So whatever it is you're thinking, as long as this show is on, let us know on our social media right now and we'll be able to voice out your opinion. But I'm not doing this alone this morning. I'm with my colleagues in the studio. I'll be doing this together. Hi, Chidera.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Chidera Amakanya Dira. Welcome to What's Hot.
All right, good morning, viewers. Welcome to What's Hot this wonderful Monday morning. My name is Eniola Adekunle. You already know how we do it here. All the gist, all the trending topics. So do well to stay with us.
Good morning. Thank God it's Monday. I'm excited to be here to give you what's trending in Nigeria and beyond Nigeria. Now let's quickly move on. My name is Fraser Bata. Let's quickly move on to the first story of today. Now, co-founder of Flutterwave, Inyoluwa Aboyeji, has sparked debate after describing investing as for lazy people during an appearance on a podcast. He said he would rather invest in himself by building businesses than put money into other people's startups. He has also argued that many of the world's richest entrepreneurs, including Elon Musk, built their wealth mainly by creating companies rather than through investing. Now I'll take some comments. This is a comment from Sketch, and he's saying, calling investing for lazy people is an interesting take, especially considering Flutterwave itself was built and scaled with investor funding. Entrepreneurship and investing are not opposites, they are complementary. Founders create value, while investors provide the capital that helps great ideas become world-class companies. I'll take another comment from Ayo, and Ayo is saying this advice is dangerous because most people will never build a multi-billion-dollar company, but they can build wealth by investing consistently. Now I'll take this last comment from Sherry Coco, and she's saying, now my return on investment I dey use go vacation. No, I don't even touch the capital. If you don't know what to do with your money, please invest. I would say that this is just like saying infants should begin running before they even start to crawl. Before you start saying, oh, you want to build, I think investing is a safe place to start, because at the end of the day, not everybody can be builders. And I know that, oh, everybody wants to be slave to capitalism, but not everybody can be slave to capitalism, always pursuing money, 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 money. Some people are okay, or they are content with being able to afford the basic things of life. Not everybody wants to be a founder. Not everybody wants to be, a billionaire. And this guy is so funny, the co-founder of Flutterwave, because he's saying that, oh, rich people, they do not invest and whatnot. But even the Elon Musk that he gave example of, before Elon Musk started, creating or founding his own, companies, he also invested. Most billionaires, they invested first. Investing is like the first place or the first playground for people to just say, okay, let me understand how money works before they even begin, to create their own companies. And like I've already said before, not everybody, would be willing to go through the risk of starting a business, because when it's a business, you put all your money in one thing. If that business crashes, your money goes with it. But with investments, once you put one in real estate, put one in stocks, put in bonds and the likes, I don't think you would be at risk or even much risk. What do you guys think about this story?
Okay, I think what is saying, I want to believe the word was twisted out of context, because for a business person, this is kind of hypocritical, and it feels like he's shooting himself in the legs, or maybe he's having problem with his investors and he wants to downplay the effectiveness of having an investor for your business. Because the Elon Musk you're saying, this man was famously known for actually investing in a lot of business, and then on the long run, he acquires these businesses and he gains ownership and all that. So you cannot downplay investment. Not everybody that wants to have a startup have the capital to actually, fund the business and all that. So if you don't have people that are investing, how are you going to be able to make sure your business grows? And aside that, it does not work well if every person on this planet says they want to start a business. Then who are the people that will actually invest? Who are the people that will buy from you when everybody wants to start their own startup? Oh, because I don't want to invest with anybody, or because I don't want to work under anybody. I want to start my business. Everybody's starting their business. Does it work that way? The same way you have people that will think of initiatives is the same way you have people that will have the fund and they want to invest, and it just works that way. It's a give and take. You cannot strip investors out of a business startup or anything like that.
And I want to even be certain that before he started Flutterwave, he had people who bought into his vision.
Yes.
He had people who invested in the company to make it what it is today. He has core shareholders who are like an integral part of what Flutterwave is all about now. So I don't know what he was saying, or I don't know the context with which he was speaking from, saying that investment is for lazy people. Yes, you would say that many times out of like 100, there are investments that have gone south. There are people who have, bought into investments and they do not do thorough, research on it, and then they eventually buy into it, and then everything just comes crashing down. If he made a point along that line, but that would have sounded so reasonable. But I'm yet to understand why he's attributing investment for lazy people, because a lot of people are investing and people are keeping their money somewhere. Investment is for future purposes. Investment is for, for long-term, short-term. People have their reasons for wanting to invest. People have their reasons for wanting to be a key part of a startup or a key part of a growth. So
sorry, I want to explain the context, in which he's coming from.
Please.
So he's basically saying that people that are investing, they don't want to, because business is a risk, right? So most investments are safe, except you want to do the higher ones. There are some that are so high, but when you talk of, there are just some that is very convenient. You're sleeping, you're making your money. But when you're a business owner, you're thinking of your workers. So he's now saying that people that don't want to build businesses are lazy. They'll rather just invest, because you just know that, okay, somebody else is taking the risk for you. When you're investing in people's business. So is that person that is thinking of, oh my God, what's actually going on in my business? But when you're investing, you're more relaxed.
I'm trying to say that. Okay.
I don't think his argument holds water. Sorry, because I mean, you can invest and still lose your money. So what exactly are you saying?
I don't even think that he's bringing an argument. I feel like the co-founder of, Flutterwave came out to give his own perspective of his own opinion, right? That you don't have to take. Really, you know how people will say salary can never build a mansion, or salary can never get you out of poverty, or salary cannot get you a wealthy life. That's what a lot of people say. It's like a stereotyped kind of statement, so this man also came out to give his own opinion on investing, and he's saying that instead of investing, he would rather build businesses. And I resonate with that very well, because I mean, strong-minded people would want to step out of the box and do other things. And really, there's no way you invest in a business that you're building and you would not give it your 100%, and you'd see it really grow. And this investing, there are levels to this thing. Some people really want to make quick money and fast money. Some people 100%, they don't even know what to do with their life or career. They just feel like, this work where they work, or this 9 to 5 is the best bet that they have. So whatever salary that they're getting or money that they're getting, let them just dump into something that can act like money laundering for them. Like literally, I've interfaced with a lot of people, so I know what I'm talking about. While other people are really serious-minded and investment has really helped them. This man is not saying take my advice 100%, but this is his opinion on things. And he didn't come to say that, all business people should take it. I mean, there's always a starting point for every business person. You have to understand the business. But he's saying that he has gotten to the point where he feels like building is his thing. And you get to hear people who say that they want to build businesses and sell it at the end of the day. So it depends on what your path is really and what you really choose. And the truth is, a lot of investors don't even know what their path is. You're putting money in this one, putting money in that one, putting money in this one, in case, I mean, come on now. So, I mean, yeah. Well, that's it for me, but if there's no other comments, I'd like to move forward. So moving on, let's talk about Nigeria and the state of Nigerian football. Football journalist Poja says not a single stadium in Nigeria is fit to hold a FIFA World Cup match. According to him, even the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo falls below FIFA's required standard. But he didn't stop there. Poja argued that Nigeria football problem goes beyond infrastructure, insisting there is no real fan culture to justify building more stadiums, with many existing facilities sitting largely empty, except during Super Eagles matches. He also questioned the quality of the current national team, saying only Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman would comfortably make the starting 11 of any top African side. Comparing the Nigerian football standards with countries like the United States and Morocco, he concluded that the nation still has a long way to go, both on and off the pitch. I'm going to take a few comments, just two from Instagram. And this is Megatex Pence. And this person say, at least our stadium go fit host Saturday party and crusade. Then Toby Bab says, stadium, you barely have hospitals that are functioning well. I mean, he referred to Uyo Stadium. I mean, I can speak on that because I've been to Uyo, and yes, I've watched local matches, and I've also, you know, imagined if, you know, an international match or something like the World Cup can be held there. And the answer is no, really. This guy, he's not blowing things out of proportion. Poja is really hitting the nail on the head. We have a lot of infrastructural problems in Nigeria, and our stadium is one of it. Like, for the world's largest, you know, competition that, you know, unites different countries and nations together, I don't think Nigeria can really stand and say that, you know, they want to host anything that is global at this point. How much more a World Cup? I think Poja is really hitting it, and I'm seconding with him. What do you guys have to say?
100%. But I want to, you know, I'm trying to check something here, and I'm seeing that Nigeria has hosted major football tournaments before, including the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, and the African Cup of Nations. However, FIFA's requirements for hosting the Senior Men's World Cup have become significantly stricter over the years, and the modern World Cup stadiums are expected to meet high standards in areas such as stadium capacity, safety and security, pitch quality, flood lighting, hospital suites, VAR technology, media and broadcasting facilities, accessibility for people with disabilities, and the likes.
100%.
So yeah, I agree with, you know, what this man is saying. Basically, one thing about Nigeria is that it's not as if we do not have the money to build stadiums and whatnot, right? If we want to build stadium, we can build, but it's the maintenance culture that we do not have. Because I mean, we have stadiums, but when you go there, it just seems as if what was actually going on. And look at the requirement that they listed. They say, oh, you must have, you know, hospital suites and whatnot. Even our hospitals, our major hospitals, our healthcare is, you know, how much more now providing healthcare for these people. So there are a lot of factors. I think there are just a lot of things that we have to do before we get there. And if we have a serious government, I think this is something that you should actually look into, to invest well, and not just invest in it, but make sure that the maintenance culture is good.
Okay, so I have a comment.
Okay,
here. So sorry. I have a comment here from WhatsApp, and it says, I hope we are not even thinking of vying to host the World Cup. Kidnappers would have a major boom in business.
Another
And
angle.
honestly, this is very true. Like you rightly said, insecurity is already plaguing the country. You cannot even guarantee the safety of the people that will have to come. And then again, how many five-star hotels do we even have in Nigeria?
Do we have?
Which hotels do you
No, we
expect?
actually
No, we have,
but
we have,
sometimes
we
there
have.
will not be water, so you might
So
actually
is that
just
a five-star
carry your head.
hotel?
I mean, it's Nigerian
we
five-star.
do have
So what happened in
five-star
Abuja
hotels.
with that it was a rent, I can't
Exactly.
remember.
So the
But
kind of facilities that is required, even our capital city is still lagging behind in this 2026. So how do you expect people to come? And the same way the Nigerian government will generally come out to, you know, propagate an agenda saying, oh, we are not letting Nigeria look good. The foreigners are actually going to see what Nigeria is for themselves, because when you come, you are watching the World Cup and then there is no light. You are trying to get to the stadium. Policemen stop you and they're asking you if you are poachers. They're asking you stupid questions. They can't even communicate with you. They are trying to extort you. You get into pothole, your cars get like there are so many things. We are not even there, honestly.
Yes.
We have other things to look at. This is the least of our priority at this moment.
I'd also like to add that we are not ready because we don't have good leadership, right? It's that's like the core of this particular dream being a reality, right? It would be so nice if we hosted grand tournaments like this. It would be so nice. But then again, I think even if it were to happen in Nigeria, it would have been a long time ago, like in the 60s, 70s, when we dared to dream and actually dared to live to see our dream come to pass. But as it is now, we don't have hospitals. Let's say, imagine, just wear your imaginative hat and think, oh, Nigeria is hosting a World Cup, or Nigeria is hosting one of these grand tournaments, and one of, like, some of the athletes sustained injuries injury, like very, very
be on
severe
strike.
injuries, where would they go to? Is it hospital where they say they don't have antivenom?
Yeah.
Is it hospitals where they say they don't have beds?
Yes.
Is it hospitals where they will now have to discharge the sick people because they now want to accommodate new people? There are just a lot of things. Let's say they even want to host it in Abuja. How many 5-star hotels are there? You would not, like, there are just really a lot of things that are, a lot of loopholes that needs to be sealed before we can now begin to dream of ever hosting a World Cup.
Okay, so even the local league, let's talk about, the local league, because he referred to, Nigeria's local league, and he also said that we don't have, a supporting system, and we don't have a strong fan base here for the local league to even do very well. And I mean, I would agree with that, really, because there's little to nothing that, the local players are really enjoying, I mean, I've watched a couple of matches and I'm like, what the heck, what in the world, really? And people don't even know about them. There's a lot that, the Nigerian Federation, Football Federation needs to do, really, because it's not just one thing. We can't just call only one thing. We can't call the medical unit alone. We can't call the pitch quality. The pitch quality, oh my God, the access, there's zero. Like, there's nothing we can really hold on to when it comes to Nigerian football and say this part is working fully well. And I think that Nigerian Football Federation should wake up to all of these realities.
100%.
But we need to move on. Yes.
Hosting World Cup is not just about the stadium. Let's even talk about from airports, because they would enter from airports. You have seen how even locals will go to airports and they are extorting you, and apart from even the money that they are collecting from, it's just so rigorous. I don't know why airports should be ever so rigorous. I've never seen that kind of thing in my life, but Nigerian airport is so rigorous. They are harassing you, they are begging you for money. Is this how these people, they want to enter the country? Then when they enter, then the beggars on the road, small children, the Amal Jaris, or I don't know what they'll be holding them. So I think that there are just a lot of things in our country that needs to be put in place before we now start talking about building stadiums, because before they will reach that stadium, let's even talk about the fact that we have accessibility problems. Our bus systems, or the train systems. How many trains do we have? Even if, yes, we do have trains and, the BRTs and whatnot, how many are there? They are not even enough to cater to the locals living in just Lagos alone. How much more if you now say, let us bring foreigners to come and...
Do you yourself that they are comparing the stadium? Before you get there, Porto will want to kill you. At a time, I had to put up a vlog of my journey to Uyo. I literally had to take it down. That road is terrible. I don't know about the road now for 2026, but you would be scared for your life. But let's move on, really.
All right, moving on. This is a rather funny twist of events, actually. So a university lecturer that was accused of demanding sex for grades was beaten and handed over to the police. So the lecturer, Dr. Nasai Mohammed Guadabi, the head of Department of History and International Studies at Northwest University, now known as Yusuf Maitama Sule University in Kano, was involved in a scandal after he has been handed over to the police when he was caught in a trap set by the husband of a married female student who accused him of demanding sex in exchange for approving our academic project. So according to reports, the lecturer has been disturbing her and insists that he is not going to approve the student project for about 2 years because she allegedly rejected his repeated sexual advances, and the woman later informed her husband about the alleged harassment, prompting them to devise a plan to expose the lecturer. So after alleged exchange of messages with the students, the lecturer had arranged to meet her shortly after Maghrib prayers at a hotel, and it was set up when the husband showed up with his friends, and they beat him up seriously and handed him over to the police. I mean, when I saw the video, it was quite funny, and I didn't feel sorry for him because they beat him in a way that his face was disfigured, and the husband kept shouting in the video that you want to sleep with my wife and all that, I'm going to teach you a lesson, and they kept beating him and all that. And it's just, even though we are finding it funny and all that, this is just revealing the fundamental issues we have in our higher institutions in Nigeria, because in a much more civilized country, you dare not try such. Even if there is no proof of you even doing something like that, the moment a student go ahead to the board of education or whatever to report you for harassment or anything, you will be questioned, and a due investigation will be conducted to determine if you are guilty or not. And if you are ever found wanting, best believe you are kissing your profession goodbye. But in Nigeria, they know that they can undo and do whatever they want. The moment you want to report the HOD, whoever you want to report him to might even be involved in this kind of thing. So you are really in a trapped cycle where you are at the mercies of the lecturer lecturers, but thankfully this woman had a husband that was able to step up. What about female students that don't have family members or they don't have anybody that can actually stand up for them in this kind of situation? What do they do in cases like this?
You know that popular saying, they beat person woto woto.
Yes,
like
exactly.
That guy, the man was, before I even read the caption, I felt really sorry at the sight of the man, right? He was battered, like it was so bad. And then when I read the caption, I was like, you know, there are just some you see a sight, like you'd see somebody suffering from a consequence of his action,
yes.
and then you just be like, it is well deserving. But even after I read the caption, I was like, oh, these people really beat this man. Like he was beaten to stupor. And it just goes to show how, you know, you can't even trust the education system anymore, because this woman, if she even said she wanted to go and report to the dean of her faculty or any like a superior, a higher body, someone higher than her lecturer, how would it be taken? Like it wouldn't be taken seriously. I'm saying this without a doubt and with facts, because it happened, it's played out in my university time and time again, right? So it's more like, if you don't have money to settle for a particular course, even when you know that the grade that you got, it's not even up to what you prepared for. Like you were sure, that's when you know that a lecturer is meaning you. And we took it up and nothing was done. We spent money, we spent resources, and nothing was done. Sadly, the girl was made to retake the course. So I saw this and I just remembered the whole ordeal that happened in university. That man really got what was deserving of him. I'm not so much of a fan of violence and I would never promote it, but he got what he really deserved. And this is what people who think that they have the guts or they have the audacity to demand sex from women, people who think that because they are your superior, they feel like you can dance to their tune whenever they set the music. This is like, he got what he really deserved, and it should continue like that. Foolish man.
Yeah. Sex for grade allegations have become so recurring in Nigerian universities, something that has happened since before my mother was born, before her own mother was born, before I was born, and it's unfortunate that it's happening now that I have a little daughter. But I would say that this is very unfortunate, and it is sad that women do not have safe spaces anyway. In churches, in universities, anywhere they go to, there's no safe space for them, because at university you think that somebody has gone to gain knowledge, that's the only thing that she'll get. A lot of people have lost scholarship opportunities, they have lost recommendation letters, they have lost good grades because of harassment from their lecturers, because it's a power dynamic thing. Oh, you have to sleep with me, if not I'm going to fail you. People will suffer and they will read because of one Agbaya lecturer that cannot control his sexual urges. They will be failing them. I remember a story of a girl saying that she was meant to graduate with a second class upper, and this man kept on messing up that grade because she didn't want to, you know, sleep with him and whatnot, and she ended up coming with a tutu. And you know how for scholarship opportunities and whatnot, you need high grades. So imagine her, you know, missing out of these opportunities for a lifetime, not because of the fact that, oh, she's not smart, but because the fact that a man's ego was bruised and he could not control his sexual urges. I think universities should do better, you know, with taking care. Thank you very much. Protecting young women in universities like this, because at least in this case, this woman had a husband. What are people that are single girls, people that are orphans, that they have nobody to step up for them? People have lost their lives. People have lost the trajectory of their lives because of people like this, and there should be stricter punishments so that lecturers like this man can just deter from this kind of things. I mean, I really do hope that it does not end here. I hope that he does not somehow bribe the police. I really do hope that he gets to the court system and he's imprisoned for this if found guilty.
I mean, this case even reminded me of a very popular one that happened when I was in uni, like Dr. Boniface. This guy was involved in the BBC.
You really called that name?
Yeah,
documentary.
No, it was in I think Arts department, and it was even suspended because it was caught in HD. They set a camera on the girl, and she went to the office, and it was like a network of lecturers. Though some names were not mentioned, and those people were able to go scot-free, but this guy was the one that was used as a scapegoat. You know, he was involved with a lot of cases, a lot of girls, and there was even a girl that was interviewed, and she said she had to drop out of school because she was frustrated by this man. So these men have power, and they should not have this kind of power. If you are a pervert, then I don't know what to say to you.
Yes, so I have a comment here on WhatsApp. This is from Tony, and it says, that lecturer is a mugu. Sharp lecturers wouldn't fall for such an easy trap. On a more serious note, he got what he deserved. I mean, this is very funny. When I saw this comment, I started laughing. I'm like, what the heck, really? You can't trivialize these things. But, you know, I think that the world has seen how serious this kind of thing is. But on the flip side, I'd like to speak that a lot of lecturers are now aware, and students now see a loophole here. It is easy for you to say, okay, I'll deal with this lecturer so that I can have an easy pass, really, because as a young girl, you indulge a man and then he just really falls for a trap that you initiated, you know, just so that you can deal with a particular lecturer, maybe because you've not studied well for that course or whatnot. So, I mean, yes, it's okay to talk about the severity of this kind of issues, because, I mean, it has really affected a lot of young girls. But then there's a flip side to this thing, and, you know, we'll never know until maybe there is actual proof, and investigations need to be carried out. And that's why I just fought our justice system and investigative system in Nigeria, because if you're like, okay, let's investigate, is this actually true, la la la, and all, you go just hear say police just for your hand one way or the other, you know, and yes, and it just goes under the bus. But I think that some lecturers too deserve justice, just the way you say that there are some fake rape, you know, accusers. That's how I think that there'll be a lot of fake, you know, accusers,
Kind of
lecturer.
But
yes.
I don't think somebody will actually accuse you if you are not doing something like that. Because how did you fall for this kind of trap? How did they trap you?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not even arguing the fact that a lot of girls suffer
there are
it.
girls that want to initiate.
You
and
know
all that.
how.
But as a lecturer yourself, if you are not involved in this kind of thing, then you will not be trapped.
Why?
No,
let me explain something to you. This man is not a pastor. He's not an imam.
Still, you shouldn't entertain that from a student.
You know, people have vices, right? And yes, he does not want to indulge, but some students will go the extra mile to making sure that they make this lecturer indulge to the point where, you know, they accuse him of yes, you can actually tell a man, oh, I like you can really lead a man on, and then at the end of the day,
you want to lead on.
To me, the
yes, to deal with him so that you can have a quick pass.
You know, honestly, the kind of man
you.
that will excuse himself for the fact that the student came on to him is the type of man that will say a minor moved to him. Even if a minor is interested in you, you as the adult know that the right thing to do is to turn down any form of advance.
Yes, but anyway,
so
let's not forget that
you are a superior here. There is no ethical relationship that can happen between you and your student because you hold the upper hand. So if you are indulging, then anything that happens to you, you are found wanting, and you should be prosecuted for it.
Well, you're right. You're very right. But let's not forget that, you know, there is an offense too in, you know, accusing people wrongly. That's all I want to bring out from this.
And a quick response came into, you know, the response to what you said.
Okay.
You know, he said, when, this one is from Tade on WhatsApp. Professor Chinwezo, in his book, The Power of the Female Anatomy, said, when a man's penis is erect, his brain goes on French leave. So this
doesn't justify anything.
It doesn't justify really.
I don't think that's the talking point. So you're saying men are stupid. That
No,
you cannot think if
and
they have a
and
brain.
I was saying,
No, they have two
Because
brains.
you're saying that when he's erect, then okay,
His
women
brain
also get
goes
turned
on
on.
leave.
So because of that, we should not use our brains.
No, women get turned on, but they have one brain. Men have two
Men
brains.
have 5 brains.
No, two. The one dancing between
don't
their legs
understand
and
you.
the one in their head. But regardless, we have to go on a quick break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us if you want to know more about the trending stories on social media. We'll be right back. Welcome back to What's Hot, Nigeria's first social media show on television. My name is Vera Chuku. I'm still in the studio with my colleagues, and we've been talking about everything trending on social media. So before we went on the break, we were talking about, you know, the lecturer who could not think because he had 2 brains. One is stuck in between his legs and one is stuck in his head. So that's why he moved to the students, and they beat him, battered him, and added salt and sugar to it, and now he's, you know, with the police, and we hope that, you know, he really gets what he deserves when it comes to justice, really. But moving on, we have to move on to the next story today.
All right, Pastor Chukwuemeka Odumeje, you know, we know him, the whole Abido Sheka kind of, that Abido Sheka man. So he said that he was disappointed with many Nigerian pastors, and he argued that pastors should rebuke bad governments instead of remaining silent or appearing too close to political power. While mentioning E.A. Adeboye, he said that he was disappointed because, in his view, spiritual leaders should speak truth to power rather than seek to benefit from the government. He also criticized politicians for mismanaging public resources while citizens continue to suffer. Now, this is what he said. I do not want to talk about Pastor Adeboye because do you know what it means to be a pastor? A pastor should rebuke a bad government. They don't benefit from him. I'm disappointed with our own set of pastors. My generation feels like a failure. our politicians are lavishing our resources, yet we keep praising them with the same resources we send them to manage for us. Every politician is there to represent citizens, blah, 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 and blah. It's such a long conversation. So now let me take some really interesting comments. The current on X said, na classism, they make some people feel, say their pastor better pass Odimeje. But when you apply the canons of logic, you agree with me that Odimeje has done for this country what your Queen's English-speaking pastors haven't been able to do, speaking truth to power. One more, somebody on X, I really don't know how to pronounce his name. We are not living in reality. Adeboye is being currently chided by Odimeje to be an honest man. We have been living in an alternate timeline the whole time. And I am beginning to love this man the more. I thank God that Tinubu, I thank God, okay, sorry.
Okay.
So that's really what the comment is about here. And you know, let me give, for the sake of context, let me just mention what the Adeboye says. So he made a comment at the US Nigeria Faith Heroes Award Gala in Washington, where he said that, I don't support those who are accusing the president of not doing enough. When the commander-in-chief has given instructions to his subordinates, he has done his bit. You do not expect him to go and put on khaki and fight. So many Nigerians basically interpreted the statement as somebody that is defending president's handling of insecurity, especially in a time where major national concerns like kidnapping, terrorism, violent attacks have been so prevalent. So a lot of people are like, a lot of people really frowned at what Adeboye said. Some people started saying that, you know, he's getting money from him, especially for the fact that his wife, Oluremi, is somehow affiliated with RCCG and the rest of it. So that's really what Odimeje was talking about in his church. He frowned at it, talking about how pastors have, you know, somehow turned to be ass kissers, especially if that current, you know, government is favoring them and the rest of it. So that's really what the conversation was about.
Yeah, you know, I feel like you realize that we have gotten into a wrong time when a pastor like Odimeje is coming out to actually criticize Pastor Adeboye, because I mean, this pastor, I just see him as a kind of cruise pastor that goes viral, from
Viral
miracles to the kind of things he says
Yeah,
and all
yes,
that. Like his voiceovers, you know, a lot of people use it on social media. But let us not look at the fact that, okay, we are saying it's Odimeje and not listen to what he's saying, because it's actually right. It's not about the fact that Pastor Adeboye is not even coming out to talk. It's about the fact that you are selective with your criticism. If you were somebody that has never, you know, come at any ruling person in the past, then maybe people will excuse you that you don't affiliate with politics in any way. But you've come out, you have been vocal, you have attacked a lot of previous leaders and all that, always coming out. I think at a point they even said he came out for protest and something like that. But conveniently, when it got to this time, and because of the fact that you are kind of heavily affiliated with the current relief party, it now feels like you suddenly have amnesia, like you don't want to involve yourself, you suddenly don't want to say anything bad, and even if you want to come out, it's more like you're trying to convince people or make people feel like, okay, things are going well. So it feels like you are benefiting from it, and that is why you don't want to talk about it. Nobody is forcing anybody to come out, but if you have done it in the past, then what is stopping you from doing it at the moment? So it is enough to actually ask questions.
When you say heavily affiliated, what do you mean?
Because there has been allegations that the wife of the president, the first lady, is a pastor, is an ordained pastor in RCCG. So everything falls into place.
And aside that, I want to answer that question that you asked. So from people's experiences on Twitter and X, they have said that they are members of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and during the time of, you know, the Buhari era, they literally brought them to church and they were campaigning for them and saying things like, we'll get your PVCs, these are the people to vote for. So that's to answer a question that, at least in the past, we don't know of now, it's not confirmed, but from people's lived experiences, they have said that yes, they were affiliated with the Buhari administration.
So, I mean, everything is not falling into place. And another thing is that, you know,
also
that
considering the fact that Osibanjo too was also an ordained pastor of the Redeemed Christian
and you
Church
know
of
that
God.
religion is one of the biggest forces you can use for Nigerians. It has us in a chokehold.
So
That is the best
When
way
you
you
say
can
religion, are you
actually
referring to
influence
Christianity
people.
or religion?
No, Muslim,
religion,
Islam,
Vera.
Christianity. It is if you
people
have
decide to
an
pick.
imam
I'm
now
asking
coming
for
out,
direct
a lot of
reasons.
the points a lot of people used to vote for the current president, especially in my area when I was staying in Surulere, was that that, oh, he's a Muslim like us, this one, that, vote for him and all that. And a lot of people were concurring that, okay, we are going to vote for him because he's a Muslim. So religion, people cannot, you know, differentiate religion from politics and all that. They align everything together. So if a very, very big and prominent pastor like Adeboye is coming out to tell his congregation that this is the right person to vote for, this is the person who's doing it well, do you think?
But do you think that problem can be solved ever? Because I mean, the same Odumeje came out to say that, you know, he does not fancy what Adeboye is doing. So I mean, this is
that's
really,
a pastor's
this is
war, and I'm not a pastor
now when it comes to religion. This is Christianity.
See, and the point is, like, it's not so bad to, you know, have your own bias, right? Everybody does that, right? But the fact that he has a lot of followers in quotes, and then he's coming to make, you know, it's best he remained politically neutral, right? So it's not be like people are the man Adeboye. So it's not like people are like pointing fingers at him. I'm like, this man, it is glaring that you are not speaking the truth, right? Nobody is. It's not the fact. It's not about, oh, okay, he's not speaking the truth. That's really what is hurting people. It's better you don't even say anything at all and let your affiliation be between you and your family members and the people you are supporting, who also know that you're supporting them. But coming out to make statements like, oh, in these trying times, let's pray to God. He even came out to make a statement that we should thank God that for the safe release of the Oyo State children who were pupils and teachers who were kidnapped in Oyo State. Nobody is saying that he should not have any affiliation. But what is the core reason for that? Like, what is the motive behind the whole statement that he came out to make?
What I would say is we're in a very sensitive time in Nigeria, and it's obvious that our country needs saving. And I look forward to a country where, you know, we're not distracted as Nigerian citizens. I look forward to a country where, you know, elected government and administration do what they ought to do and serve the people, because Nigerians deserve it. It's been a long time coming. I saw a write-up about Nigerian universities and educational system, how it has deteriorated. There was a time when students really enjoyed the educational system of Nigeria, and look at where we are today. There was a time when, you know, people really enjoyed the benefit of being Nigerians. But you see right now, it's zero. So it is not about the distraction of religion or the distraction of their kidnapping people. I just hope for a better Nigeria where we grow up to have our own kids and they enjoy a better country as well. The distractions are just too much. But I have to move on. Praise, what do you have for us?
Thank you very much for that question. Now, demographers project that single women without children will make up an increasingly large share of households in many developed countries as people marry later and they are having fewer children. And in some cases, women are choosing not to even have children at all. Rising education levels, financial independence, longer life expectancy, and shifting cultural priorities have all contributed to this trend. Now, for many women today, marriage and motherhood are no longer seen as milestones that define adulthood. Instead, they see career growth, personal fulfillment, travel, and financial stability as often taking priority. Now, I'll take a few comments. This is a comment from Nessa, and she's saying first generation of women to live on their terms. Yes, because men just want to be fathers without wanting to share parenting duties. I'll take this last comment from Michelle, and Michelle is saying, as a mother of a 29 and 27-year-old, I completely understand and approve this message. Until society truly values and appreciates motherhood, young women can sit motherhood out. That being said, motherhood is not for everyone, so let us leave women alone and free them to live their lives on their own terms. Bam. Now, I say I'm so happy to be part of the women that now have choices, because we have come from centuries and decades of women having to be forced into child marriages. There was a time where, oh, once you're 14, what am I saying? Once you start menstruation, for some girls, it's like 10 years old, 11, 12, they're already, you know, marrying you up because they feel like, oh, you're now a woman, you're started seeing your menses, like the older generation would say. So I'm so happy that nowadays, because of education, you know, because of just progressiveness, women are now making their own choices. And we've seen how in the past, you know, men have taken fatherhood as a side hustle. Shebi is just to put my sperm. Oh, Shebi, when I'm erect, I cannot think, so let me put it in a woman. And then you bring a child, but you don't even know that being a father is more than you just putting your sperm in a woman. It is you being there for your children. And if women continue to, do everything on their own. Of course, they can't come and women are now picking themselves and saying, okay, it's not only you that can be selfish. Me too, let's not Kukuma even bring any child. Instead of us to now bring the child, and I'll now have to act as both the mother and the father. I'm so happy for women, and if men do not step up in their responsibilities to make good fatherhood, this will continue to happen. At some point, we'll even go into extinction because women will close shop and say we are not doing it again.
Close shop.
Oh my God, Daniela, what do you have to say?
Well, maybe they can just as well just make sure to get into science and all that. Maybe they'll be able to build a robot that can, carry babies for them and all that.
Maybe they're already doing it. They already have sex toys. So
but generally, for me, the way a lot of men want children, it's like a child wanting a toy or wanting a pet, something you can conveniently play with, and when you are no longer interested, when it's convenient for you, when it's no longer convenient, you can drop it and just go your way. That's how a lot of men. So all the responsibilities generally, you've already gone through the hell of bringing forth this baby, carrying the baby for 9 months and all that, and then you are still tasked with the responsibility of taking care, and then you see how a lot of men trivialize it, like, is it not just this? My mother had 8 children and she still functioned well. You did not even see the suffering your mom had to go through. You didn't see the hell your dad put your mom through, and the tears are crying in the midnight and all that, trying to make sure she fends for you and your siblings, but conveniently you romanticize that suffering of your mothers, and you want to now put it on another person's daughter. So but now these days women are like, I have a choice, and I even strongly believe that not everybody is fit to be a mom. 100%. You understand? So you will not have children and feel like, okay, I don't think I can take care of this child, and just leave the child on the street or discard the child. So it's much more better that people have a choice, and women especially. So let everybody do whatever pleases them, and we will all be fine in the end.
Okay, so a lot of factors come into play in evaluating one's fitness as a parent, right? This whole single, a woman can up and leave the marriage, it's being preached heavily now. And while that is good, it also has severe consequences. And it is not the mother or the father that will suffer the consequences. It's the children, right? Having to grow in a one-parent household, or having to grow, because let's say the woman, because Everly, even whenever a man ups and leaves, whenever he says he's not interested or whatever, the sole responsibility of the mother and the father falls on the woman, right? She has to step up. And in a case where the woman is not so financially buoyant to take care of kids, the children suffer the consequences of this whole thing. So it's so scary how it's scary how far we are going with this whole narrative, right? It's so sad that I wish something can be done, right? But then again, the children would always be. That's why I wish men would understand this when they want to make rash or harsh decisions. I wish they have the same thinking faculty as that of women, because they always say women are highly emotional and the rest of it. A man can up and leave and walk out of his family's life, but before a woman would make such decision, it takes a toll on her before you see a woman say she left her children with the father, or she left her children with her mother. It takes a lot. So if you say go day for your family, not even start them, that's really that's what we've been preaching.
They're not encouraging women to divorce. They're not talking about marriages. They are talking about women refusing to even marry. You're already talking about, they are giving a narrative that women should leave their marriages. That's not even what this thing is saying. They are just saying that people are now choosing to be single, not even entering the marriage, to even talk of, say, I want born pikin, because it's not profitable. And they have other priorities, education. They want to travel, they want to see the world, they want to be exposed. There's fulfillment in any other thing, not just because you're a woman that your whole essence is that, you must be married and you must have children. That's what we're basically saying.
So thank you, Praise, for cutting it, because I was just waiting for her to be done so that I'll read the headline again. Like, single women without children will become the majority.
I thought you meant single women with children, actually. That's why I said what I said.
Yeah, so that's even one angle, very valid, that you even brought, but let's even go back to what the topic is saying. Really, I saw a post by Etinosa, one of our popular actress, and she said that getting married is not an achievement, having children is not an achievement. Yes, as much as I agree, and as much as I'm happy to be a woman in this generation, because we have choices. Now this is beginning to sound like consolation, yes, for a lot of women. It's beginning to sound like excuse for bad character, excuse for laziness to put in the work in relationship, excuse for bad attitudes. I mean, we're good women on this table, I agree. We're ready to put in the work and be all good, and we're ready to even pursue our careers. But there are a lot of women that will sing the song of, okay, having children is not an achievement because of all the things that they have jeopardized in their life. You know, they've had people who really cared for them, men who were really ready to stay with them, but they were outside, really. Their mind was still outside. They were still having options and, you know, other kind of thoughts within themselves. So yes, we are happy to be women in this generation that have career choices and have, you know, options for women, but a lot of women, if you know that you're using this as an excuse for bad character and bad attitude, you cannot lie to yourself, even if you lie to the entire world. Yeah, so that's what I have to say concerning this. But we can move on. Yeah, so moving on. A tragic funeral journey. This one is kind of interesting. A tragic funeral journey turned into a nightmare after suspected kidnappers ambushed mourners escorting the body of a late FRC Deputy Corps Commander Augustine O. Ikwe to Benue State for burial. The attackers reportedly abducted several mourners and marched them into the bush, abandoning the body, which was later recovered in Kogi State. The kidnappers are now demanding a 50 million naira ransom for the victims' release. The shocking incident has now further fueled concerns over insecurity, with many people lamenting that in today's Nigeria, even the dead can no longer rest in peace. I'm going to take 2 comments on Instagram. This is Ruti XX on Instagram. Trump was right, a country of particular concern. Then Rita Berry says, so even the dead are not safe in this country. No be small wahala for dead body. Okay. Now, when I read this story, I'm like, I remember the Orisha Femi song, double wahala for dead body, and the owner of them body. That song really came to my mind because owner of dead body carry problem. Dead body self meeting you for road. Nigeria, my country. Oh God. At this point, it's just to laugh because we cannot cry. If we start crying, she will cry blood for Nigeria before even dead body self go see safety for this country. It's insane. And to think that, you know, they have, with their full chest, they're asking for 50 million for people who are going to bury their loved one or Abba.
I mean, the case is very sad, honestly, because, you know, seeing the headline feels like something straight out of a fiction or something like, what do you mean you are kidnapping a dead body? But when I got to read the story, I saw that they actually kidnapped the people that were going to bury the body with the body, and they eventually dumped the corpse and then went with the victim. So we are still talking, some people now, they are still in captivity. Now their families have been thrown into double or triple mourning. There might be people there who are not even in any way related to the dead person, and now their family have to go around, run the scatter, trying to find money to bail them out of these kidnappers then. So it's still this insecurity thing we are talking about, and it's not funny. People are not safe.
100%.
For me, it's so sad.
I agree that, you know, there's nothing funny about this, because I mean, even if they had even carried, you know, the dead body, I'm like, why can't somebody rest in peace? This person has lived in Nigeria with all the trials and tribulations. They deserve some, you know, kind of peace. And the whole thing of just disrespecting people's body, because it's even more annoying that they just threw somebody's body like that. Yes, the person is dead and whatnot, but at least have some regard for the dead. And I really do hope that these people that have been kidnapped, the government does something about it, because we cannot be living in a country where we're always bringing ransoms for this, ransoms for that. Before, the the donations that we normally bring up was for maybe jackpot or something better. We cannot be making these kidnappers rich, because crime will increase more, because people are like, oh, since they are not catching them, instead of me to go to school, let me even go and look for these kidnappers and ask them to recruit me into their network. So I really think that we should not normalize a country where we always raise ransoms. Now the security agencies in this country, they have to step up and make sure that just as they found these Orire peoples, they should look for these people too, and they should not have to pay any ransom.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't
Today I don't have anything to say. Today I am speechless. You see, we are complete on this table, because in Nigeria today, you see people that will see this story, they will laugh, because it's double wahala for people who get body and the dead body, he cannot rest in peace. Then you see the same, you see people that, you know, we just feel like this is absurd. Then you see the ones that are are quiet because Nigeria matter fit make you craze at this point. I mean, but let us know what you think in the comment section, and also send us a DM on WhatsApp and Instagram. I'll be able to also echo your opinion here on this table. This is where we have to wrap up the show for today. My name is Vera Chuku, your baby girl for life, and we're going to have another version of this show on radio today by 11 a.m. Make sure you join us on Reading 93.7 FM. Have a wonderful day if you can.
And my name is Chidera Amakaya. I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much for staying tuned with us. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. My name is Eniola Adekunle. I'll see you next time.
Exciting news. You can now join our live stream on YouTube, Reading 93.7 FM, to watch us when we talk live on radio. My name is Praise Obata, and I'll see you there.